What's up, everybody? Welcome to IGN Game Scoop. I'm your host, Damon Hatfield. I'm joined today by Greg Miller, Marty Sleep, Justin Davis. Scoop. This is, of course, IGN's video game talk show. We like to think of it as the View for video games.
Yeah, I'm Whoopi.
I want to be Whoopi.
Each week we get together and talk about all the big news that's happening in video games. Today we're going to talk about Cliff Bleszinski. The artist formerly known as Cliffy B.
Okay.
We're going to talk about Xbox One digital prices maybe getting cheaper. We'll talk about the state of the industry. But first, Ken Levine, creator of BioShock.
A lot of pregnant pauses here. You set it up. I'm excited for you to tee off.
Says he is winding down developer Irrational Games.
As you know it.
Yes, as we know it.
Yeah.
Laying off all but 15 of his staff, making something totally different, a different type of game for him, smaller, downloadable games.
Yep.
What do we think this says? Does it say anything about state of the industry?
I mean,
Major
first,
developer.
Looking at, obviously, BioShock Infinite, great game, sold 4 or 5 million copies, also took 7 years to make.
Right.
And with a studio of over 100 folks, that budget, like it would be insurmountable for them to have made money on that game.
Yeah, they needed that game to do better than it did.
Yeah, and they needed the game to do better than BioShock 1, which just wasn't going to happen.
So the speculation is, we don't know. Like, the way that they couch this announcement is Ken Levine says he wants to make smaller games, is what he wants to do.
Narrative focused, replayability.
I think what's more likely is that game didn't do well. 2K said, we got to shut this studio down.
You can't say that game didn't do well.
Well, not as well as they wanted it to do. Sure. But, I mean, exactly what...
That's how he buries Damon's in the sure pile. Damon can't get out.
I mean, I'm just saying, I think that they did Ken Levine the courtesy of letting him break this news the way that he wanted to break this news, that, you know, the game didn't make enough money to keep Irrational around and put them onto a new project.
So the thing that sort of irked me about I think Ken Levine is a genius. I mean, System Shock 2, Freedom Force, BioShock 1, BioShock Infinite, amazing games. What kind of irked me is that the message from this blog post was more of, hey, be excited that me and 15... folks are going to be making games, as opposed to 100 really talented people are now unemployed.
I thought it was you and I talked about this, how, like, wait a second, like, it's almost like a footnote at the very bottom of the announcement, though also 100 people are losing their jobs.
But it was nice to see, Twitter kind of rally around. You saw, Naughty Dog and BioWare and 343, Epic, all these studios saying, hey, we're looking for artists, for programmers, for, everything. And it was nice to see, journalists and developers alike kind of rally around that. So.
Right.
And I'm kind of excited in a weird way, like trying to look on the bright side, that a similar thing, happened with 2K Marin, who made BioShock 2. There was a big exodus, and a lot of those folks ended up forming their own indie studios and making things like On Home and things like The Novelist and things like Eldritch. So if we can get 5, 6, 7 rad indie studios out of these guys, that's kind of cool.
I mean, I had a lot of conflicted emotions yesterday about it, because, there is the announcement that these people got laid off. But then, and this makes us sound totally desensitized, this happens all the time now, right? Games ramp up, and they get all these people, and then boom, and it's over. Especially if you're going into pre-production on a downloadable game. I don't think that you can blame, whether it be Irrational or 2K, for wanting to limit the focus and wanting a smaller, leaner studio to do this. It is a business. They're allowed to do that. And the fact that this happens so much, I believe all those people who are like, I have BioShock Infinite on my resume, won't struggle to find jobs in the industry. Yeah. So then the other side of it is that I think that we all love BioShock Infinite. Everybody has something to say positive about it. There's a lot of people who don't like it or don't like parts of it, right?
Yeah.
Like, the gameplay didn't work for me, or the story got out of it. I'd much rather see, the brilliance of Ken Levine be able to boil down to a small 4-hour experience that's joy from start to finish, and I never go, man, there's another George Washington robot again. There's this guy. I'm just going to skyhook around him for 30 turns until he's dead. You know what I mean?
If they could trim the fat from an experience like Infinite, that'd be amazing.
Yeah, exactly. I don't think no one ever, when people talk about Infinite, and for maybe, correct me if I'm wrong, if somebody in the room is different or knows it, nobody's ever like, and the gameplay was so good.
Andrew Goldfarb.
Well, Goldfarb drank all the vigor they sent him.
He looked at his hand, it was just on fire.
Actually, the gameplay didn't bother me. I just preferred the front half of the game more than the latter half.
I think we've heard a couple times, we heard from the Last of Us DLC and the Burial at Sea DLC that people loved it until the combat started. And
Sure.
sort of like, man, if this was just like a world you could run around in and explore and experience
Yeah.
like a really tight, awesome story, that
But
might
I don't know
have
if you
been
can sell that on a big level. I don't know if you can go to E3 and have a trailer of just walking around.
No, for sure. But I mean, like for a certain number of people, if you were able to make something like that with a smaller team, like then suddenly it can start to
I
make
agree.
a
I mean,
little
for Gone Home was that a breakthrough for a lot of people, right? Of like,
Yeah.
you got to the end of the game, you're like, I didn't really do anything, but
Yeah.
I really enjoyed that. And that was like you're talking about with The Last of Us DLC for sure. You're playing it and like, there's a long time without combat. And you're like, this is awesome. Maybe no, here's combat.
Yep,
And then at the very end of the game, like that very like
Oh, the last
rundown. I'm like, I did the patented screaming at the TV, pick up the controller, and pantomime throwing it at the window because you're just like, God damn it, Naughty Dog.
Pillowpeed a little bit.
We do.
Yeah,
I mean,
he's cowering.
this is the thing about these publisher-funded games is this is how it goes. Like I'm sure there's maybe some people at that studio that were very surprised, but I think for the most part, like when you're, a studio that gets funding from publishers and they haven't funded a new project,
Right.
Like everyone there understands what's going on, right? Like that's
Hey, we're about to wrap up episode 2 of
Yeah.
nothing else to do.
Yeah.
nothing's in pre-production. You don't have, and
Well, don't forget about BioShock Vita now.
well, sure.
He held it up. He held the unit up at E3.
Does this mean that's never coming?
It was never coming.
And I do.
Guys, it took us 7 years to make this game, and we're thinking about one day doing something for this handheld that I'm sure will be a
How
complete
amazing would it
flop.
be if the 15-person game is just BioShock on Vita?
God, I would love it.
And they added a new game plus, so that's the replayability.
It's great. It's awesome.
Irrational has been around 17 years.
Yeah.
In that time, they've only made 7 games.
Yeah.
So they work slowly. It takes them a while. So I don't know, maybe this will allow, making smaller games, maybe this will allow them to
Yeah, let's hope so.
crank out a few more,
Yeah.
more often.
Yeah, I feel like this. We had a lot of different examples this generation of games kind of taking far too long. Some games not even coming out.
Last Guardian.
Last Guardian.
Duke
GTA is one of those rare games that's
Yeah.
able to. They're
Yeah,
able to take 7 years and
I mean, I always talk about South Park, right?
Yeah.
Like, that was the
Oh,
big
geez.
concern of, hey, why haven't we played this? Oh, it's never coming out. Oh, okay.
Hey,
That's
it's finally
weird.
coming out.
And then we went and played, and I was like, this is awesome.
Yeah.
And now I'm ready.
Wait, did you get the impression that will his new studio still be called Irrational, or is he going to change the name?
I think it'll still be called Irrational.
do
Just
too.
by the way he says Irrational as you know it, as opposed
Yeah.
to saying Irrational is now closed.
Oh, I guess. I mean, who knows?
Yeah.
It is just kind of a name, but I sort of took it the other way. It sounded like it was going to be a different thing inside 2K,
Yeah.
and I don't know. I guess
Or
we'll see.
Inside Take-Two.
Or
Yeah,
yeah,
he's
I made that mistake
Yeah,
1,000 times yesterday.
Yeah,
But then the BioShock license goes to 2K.
We're going to be seeing a lot of BioShock games.
So,
Let
okay.
me
Wait
tell
for
you
kart
that.
racing.
Yeah, BioShock kart. Oh, God.
Yeah, you think that's an inevitability then?
Yeah,
Definitely
I think
more BioShock
like
games.
we saw the turnaround with BioShock 2, I think we're going to see, I bet, a BioShock game in 2 years that's set in Colombia.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who are we going to be?
I don't know, Wooker.
I want to be hot dog vendor.
I want to be
Who's
the guy
putting all my hot
I wanna
dogs
be the
in
guy-
the toilet? I'm going to find out.
who hides all the pineapples in the garbage can.
putting all that cake on dead bodies. Game was not great.
I thought it was great.
I think it's a great game.
Yeah.
I had fun.
8.0 IGN.
Anyway, as soon as we know more about what the new Irrational that we know is,
Yep.
we'll definitely be talking about it here. Now, I think this is a similar story. Cliff Bleszinski.
Dude, huge.
Cliffy B.
Yeah. He recently made some comments. Yeah, I love this. I love this photo of him.
Jesus.
What a good-looking man.
He is.
He is very.
He's handsome.
He's very handsome.
Seems very dangerous.
I like that he owns his image these days too. He's like, yeah, these are all things that I did. He doesn't try to like
Yeah.
hide from it.
He's
like,
awesome.
Yeah.
No.
He's got a great attitude about it.
Yep.
Anyway, he made some comments recently in an interview. He's saying he's done with disc-based games. He will never make another disc-based game
What
again.
was the exact quote? Do you have it? It was
The exact quote
Disc-based
is,
games are the devil.
I'll never make another disc-based game for the rest of my career.
Yeah.
Well, okay.
That's his quote.
Yeah.
But I'm about to change my career as you know it.
He's making cart-based games.
He has been dropping some hints. He's apparently been very inspired by this new PC game, Rust.
Yeah.
I know some of the editors here have been playing.
Mitch is obsessed with that.
you
Yeah, I
can't
played
talk
a
to
little
Mitch
bit.
about that.
Yeah.
I didn't like it.
I like it.
you play it?
You don't like anything. You don't like BioShock. You don't like Rust.
He like-
I want to play Hearthstone.
Exactly. You stuck the words right out of my mouth.
I like Hearthstone a lot. I like Banished a lot.
He started playing Banished, yeah. Well, tell us what Rust is. We're seeing it
Here
up
it
on the
is.
screen here.
It's that screenshot. It's an inventory management
It
system.
looks like Minecraft.
It's like a Minecraft sort of survival sim where you're just thrust into the world, but the big thing about it is the sort of PvP interactions that you have with people.
It's ruthless, it's permadeath.
Yep.
And so you can die in an instant, and when you die, you lose everything you
Yep.
got. And so that's where the tension comes from, is like these factions band together, sort of, like they don't need to have, like other games if they wanted people to play together, they'd be like, here's this guild system or this clan system, but in this game it happens on its own just because it has to happen because you want to survive.
Yeah, and some of the stories Mitch has when he comes in, just about the things that they did the night before. Whoa, that sounded weird. Things they did the night before.
No, but it's true. Like they're
are just amazing.
Like they threaten to hold people up and rob them, which you couldn't do in another video game because if you don't give them what they want, they're just going to kill you and they'll lose it anyway.
It's that there's this awesome video on YouTube, right, of this guy who's playing and he holds people up and because he'll sneak up on him. He's like, "All right, get down on your knees, hands behind your head," and they do it. And then he's like, "Now sing your national anthem, or I'll kill you." And the guys will sing their national anthem. He go, "All right, good job, you're free to go." And he'll give them some stuff and walk. And if they don't, he will blow them away. It's like just this game of psychopaths.
It's so good.
So fascinating just to watch.
I want to be clear that I played Rust and I understand like the potential of it, but it's another one of these games that's early alpha. It's early access on Steam, and I just thought it was so early and clunky still that I like the idea and how you make your own narrative, and I feel like it'll grow into something nice, but when I played it, it was I found it too rough to enjoy yet.
Too rusty.
Too rusty.
Too rusty.
IGN.com,
Dan
9.5.
liked that one.
That one's really good. Anyway, Cliff is inspired by games like Rust, he says. He wants to make a PC game that will allow him to have a closer relationship with players without publishers and the media acting as a middleman. We hate the media.
I'm not a big fan of the media.
For sure.
They suck.
So I think this is connected to Ken Levine. Cliff Bleszinski leaves Epic Games to go make his new PC game that he wants to be downloadable only. Ken Levine's making downloadable only games. Now, we've got people like David Jaffe, leaving big AAA disc-based games business to just do downloadable stuff. It's like, so we keep hearing about the digital only future.
Yeah.
When is it actually here?
We're living it.
I know. Are we living in it now?
I mean, I'm living in it now.
Yeah.
I buy my PS4 games digitally.
Yeah,
And my
me
Steam
too.
games. So.
Me too.
Yeah. I think, we're getting there. We're not there totally.
Sure.
Like, Target and Walmart aren't going away anytime soon, but if you 10, 15 years from now, I think the majority of games we bought online, and anyone who's like dabbled in Steam knows like, holy crap, everything is so much easier and cheaper on here.
Yeah, you dabble in Steam, and then before you know it, you have 400 Steam games. I think so. The digital, like the way that the game delivered, is secondary to like the way that people buy it and play it, and how and when they get access, and that like Cliff said, that level of interaction with the fans. Like I know some people like Colin Moriarty, and plenty of people, like he's the voice of a large audience of people that don't like Kickstarter. So you're putting money in for something, and then maybe 18 months from now you'll get a game, and like that it doesn't feel
Maybe
right.
36 months from now,
Sure,
you're going to get
exactly. But the difference between that and Steam Early Access is you're part of it. Like in Rust, you're having a direct impact on the development of that game, and Double Fine's doing that with with Space Base. And if Cliff wanted to do something like that, like you can put something out way earlier than you would normally be comfortable, maybe even showing the press, and you're like, man, this isn't a beta in the way that like a lot of console first-person shooters are in beta, and it's really like a marketing tool.
Wait a second. You mean my Titanfall comments aren't going to be taken to heart?
I mean, it's always been that way, right? Like, it's been like Halo and all the Call of Duties. Yeah. Like, it's a big marketing thing. But these are real, true, like, man, this game's going to crash. It will have problems, but we want you in it, like, helping us make it. And then the people that do buy that early, fund the development of the second
And they
half
talk
of
about
that
it,
game.
and they drive, and they beat, and they, they say that, like, this is something we own, and this is why you need to play it. That's why Mitch won't shut up about
That's
Rust.
part of Minecraft's success.
Yeah, exactly.
That's a huge part of Minecraft's success. And
Also the blocks.
People love the blocks.
Attack the block?
Yeah, attack the block.
Oh.
I think the bigger part of all this, right, is just the fact that by going digital and making smaller games, you eliminate all the BS that comes with being a game developer, right? Or to be an Epic, or to be an Irrational, where some suit who doesn't know nothing about art comes in and tells you, no, Elizabeth's got to be a brunette, and you beg and you plead, and they don't listen. Now you get to do whatever you want. You know what I mean? And you can give it to the consumer if they don't like it, especially if it's greenlight, right? You can change it, or you can stick to your guns.
It gives you the creative freedom to do what you want. It also, just the margins on making video games are really tight. Like, it's hard to make a profit. And when you cut out all those middlemen, and when you sell a $30 game and you get $30 from it, or, whatever, Steam's cut is, like, you only have that one middleman instead of several. It can make it a lot easier to make a profit with a small team and a small game.
Mega Man 11, Mega Man versus Middleman.
I mean, I like that. So you used to have a game made by 100 people that needed to sell 10 million copies to make a profit. And now you can have 10 games made by 10 people each that only need to sell, a tenth of the number of copies to make a profit. And
A lot of math there.
Yeah.
but it's like it works out the same in the end, except that consumers get like smaller focused titles that are exactly what a smaller group of people want,
Right.
rather than some huge game that's like maybe 80% what you want, but then there's some parts of it that you didn't like.
Like BioShock Infinite.
See, that's what I'm saying. Yeah.
Exactly like BioShock Infinite.
A lot of our stories are related today.
Oh my gosh.
Cliff mentions Minecraft. He says there are 2 lessons people have not learned from Minecraft: get the game out there and build it. I think those are the 2 things. Get the game out there and build it. Some kid will put out a video. Players will teach each other. You don't need the press A to jump button.
Right.
Sure. I don't know if I strictly I think one of Minecraft's shortcomings is that that game can't stand on its own. You have to play it with a wiki open next to you, or you'll never figure out the crafting recipes and stuff.
Well, not anymore, right? I mean, that's the whole thing with when they finally I'm
On
similar to what
consoles.
you're doing with Rust, right?
Yeah.
Like when Anthony originally years ago showed me Minecraft and tried to get me to play it, that was the turnoff to me of I don't have time for all this. But when it came to PlayStation 3, it's that polished console version where I open up my crafting and it shows me everything I need to get.
Yeah, the PC version I don't think is still quite there yet.
That's because the PC,
but, that's
PC
certainly-
people are smarter than console people.
Sure. And they're also having I'm pointing it out this is some problem with the game, but it's selling better than ever. So don't listen to any advice that I have to give to you.
Listen to this sweater advice. Though.
Thanks.
This is nice.
Yeah.
Where'd you get this ensemble?
The Native American store. It looks Native American.
It does.
Yeah.
Is that real? I believe you.
I think I got Urban Outfitters.
Oh, okay.
Thanks for noticing.
Which is kind of a Native American story.
It's native to America.
What do we think about this quote? He says, the whole old guard, where you get a Game Informer cover and an E3 reveal is dead. He says, I'll never make another disc-based game for the rest of my career, and at E3 they're trying to woo buyers from Target and Walmart, he asks incredulously. Now we can be, let's be honest here, Game Informer is a competitor of ours, right?
Yep.
What I'm saying is, I don't think it's quite dead yet, because we still compete with Game Informer, and they get a lot of big reveals on their covers. That's still very valuable to people.
If I ever see Tim Turry again, I'll kill him.
Yeah.
That's how seriously I take the blood feud between us and Game Informer.
That's why they're in the Midwest.
They're terrified to come out of my coast.
Yeah, I mean, I completely agree with that. The landscape is changing. Not
We're
that
going to be
you're
heading there. I don't think it's dead.
No. But I mean, we're absolutely, the tides are shifting, and with your with AA development gone now, and you see AAA studios are few and far between now.
Yeah.
I mean, budgets have to be smaller. It's less important to have NBC cover your game or CNBC cover your game during E3 as opposed to having PewDiePie play it online.
Right.
You get a big
I still
audience.
think. I think what he's talking about is somewhat true, but I think it's just that the dynamic's shifting, right? I think you see that a lot with IGN, even the fact that we're not necessarily the people who are first out of the gate now to tell you about how great a game is. So lots of times you tell us how great a game is, and then we get to go showcase it to a brand new group of people who grow the audience and bring it that way.
I mean, I think it's solely true. Minecraft didn't succeed because of anything IGN had to say about it.
Yeah, sure.
And, there's lots of other games like that. Lots of other early access stuff on Steam doesn't need anybody to say anything about their game. A few people will be willing to check it out, and then it grows, slowly from there.
Mm-hmm.
It used to be a game would sell, it's a tale, right? It would have a huge number of sales in that first week or month, and then less and less and less and less. Now you can see the opposite happen.
Right.
A few people check it out, they're like, this is rad, and then it grows and grows and grows.
Yeah. You look at things like League of Legends and Dota.
Yep.
Those never had Game Informer covers or big E3 press conferences.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that's true of those types of games. If you have a game that's publisher-funded, big budget, AAA game, you still need to play sort of the traditional game by, talking to folks like IGN and Game Informer and whoever else. That's just the nature of the business. The budgets are too high.
Gone Home will be Discover, Twisted Metal will not be.
I discovered this little game. It's got this weird
You're an ice cream man. I don't know what
You ever seen this song? Nobody cares about this game. I'll stop talking. 9.0 IGN didn't sell any copies. Weird.
Who was that?
I know. I don't know that voice.
That's Ryan Clements.
Oh, yeah.
He reviewed it. That's the Ryan Clements voice. Like Neepy.
Okay. Developers keep telling us they're going digital.
Yeah.
But one of the major complaints is that digital games, like on consoles, aren't cheaper than physical games. People don't like paying the same amount.
Right.
Games on demand on Xbox have been typically the same price as they are at retail. Microsoft says it is experimenting with lower prices of games on demand. leading up to the upcoming downloadable content for Rise, Son of Rome. They've discounted the games on demand version of the game to, what is it, $39.99, $40, usually $60. Now, there's a couple of things that give me pause here. One of the guys at Microsoft says a lot of people ask for better deals on our digital marketplace. We're testing some. This price, $40, says that's far better than the used price at GameStop and others. Go digital,
What?
he says.
That's what he said?
Yeah. But I looked up, the price for the used game at GameStop is $38. What's he talking about? So there's that.
Yeah.
Also, I don't understand, people, they're calling it an experiment. Let's lower the price and see what happens.
Yeah.
I hypothesize people will enjoy it.
I know. Like what's
It'll
their
move more units when you discount the price.
what's their gauge of success? Obviously, more people are going to buy it.
Yeah. I mean, that's because the whole thing with them is they make a huge profit out of selling games digitally for full retail price.
Right.
You don't have to, pay for the actual production
Yeah,
costs.
you're
of
not
the disc
no
and
box,
everything.
no printing, no anything.
So, I'm sure they don't want to lower the price, but, if at the end of the day you're going to move a lot more units by, if you have a choice between downloading, Halo 5 for $50 online or buying it for $60 at the store, I think a lot more people are going to be downloading it.
Yeah.
I do think it's partially that. I also think it's protecting their retailer relationships.
Yeah.
We don't know what those, behind closed doors conversations look like, but I promise you that, even though Cliffy B's right that the buyers from Walmart and Target aren't as important as they used to be, they still represent hundreds of thousands of units that will be in Target stores all over the country.
Yeah.
And if you anger them by saying, we're going to undercut you on day one, if day one digital is going to be cheaper than retail, I think there's partnerships in place that prevent them from doing some of the discounting that they might be willing to do.
Plus, GameStop should be very scared of this.
Yep.
I mean, the fact that if you can get a game cheaper day one and then you can never sell it back.
Yeah, but it's like GameStop has leverage too by saying, "Hey, then we're not going to stock as many copies of your game, and then that's harmful to their business."
We're not going to put your console out there for people to buy. We're going to put PlayStation in front of it.
It becomes this whole poisonous thing for everybody. It's potential to do that, even though it is better for the consumer. So it's like some of these things that seem like no-brainers are like, yeah, man, offer discounts. There are some moving parts here that are a little bit more complicated.
Yeah, but I mean, it's so far behind Steam. When you look at Steam, that's
for sure.
And that's where consoles need to
The
go.
thing is, Steam had nothing to lose. They don't give a shit.
Yeah.
So it's like they'll just, they don't have retail partners that they're trying to appease, and so it's like they're not stuck in between this rock and this hard place like the console makers are that need the Xbox One to be sold in these big box stores for now.
D-Box coming this year?
Yeah.
All 15 of them.
Yeah, well.
For ranging prices from
$100
dirt
to
cheap
$7,000. Yeah.
I'm so interested to see how that all shakes out. It's such a weird,
I still don't know who they're for.
confusing thing.
Yeah.
I do think the Xbox sales are nice. I mean, I don't own an Xbox One yet. I'm going to get one soon. And when I do, I would totally consider picking up some of these games on the cheap. Or like that, it becomes a more viable alternative for price-conscious consumers than buying used games. The used games business is, I understand it, I get it, because people need to save money, but it is harmful to the video game industry as a whole. And so, buying $40 new digitally or $40 used at retail, $40 digitally I think makes a lot more sense.
Sure. That Rise Son of Rome downloadable content is out on February 28th. That's the last day of the month.
Oh my god.
It is.
There's only 28 days in February.
Suck it, leap year.
Yeah.
Mark your calendar, everybody.
Or is it a leap year? I don't know how
No,
leap
not a
years
leap
work.
year.
Okay.
Okay, GDC is coming up soon. Yeah. That's the Game Developers Conference.
It's a big deal here in
I'm
San
excited.
Francisco.
Yeah.
It's always a really fun week.
I go to the W and I get drunk every night.
Yup.
You've exposed the secret
I don't think it's much of a secret. No. Literally everyone is going to be drunk
at the W.
Literally.
But people would point out, if there was ever a bomb that went off in the W bar
That would
during
be-
GDC week,
Wow.
the entire video game industry would be
Set
wiped
back
out.
decades.
That'd be amazing.
Anyway,
Poland would become that leading developer country.
It's just all Witcher games.
GDC just held its second annual State of the Industry poll. They poll everyone that attended the previous year's GDC. So
mostly developers.
they polled 26. It's all developers. They polled over 2,600 North American developers to ask them questions like, on which platforms do you anticipate your next game will be released? So it gives us interesting data. Unsurprisingly, far and away, the most popular platforms remain PC and mobile devices. 'Cause that's where the barrier to entry is the lowest.
Sure.
Yeah.
right?
Everyone has one of those in their house.
But we're talking about consoles. PlayStation 4 is the leading console, with about 20% of developers polled saying they plan on the next game coming to PS4.
Yeah.
Why is this?
I like this B-roll. Well, there it is, everybody. In case you didn't know what a PS4 looked like.
PlayStation 4.
We should have like animated or just like drawn in developers. Ooh, it's all off the shading.
What do you think the B-roll should be?
Nothing. Just Marty. I want a slow zoom on Marty.
I told Aransky they could, just us is enough. He wants to cover us up.
You know what else he wants? Probably another kid. He didn't screw up his life bad enough. You know how many next-gen consoles he owns? Not that many. He's got a kid. This guy's having a kid. He thinks he's buying Xbox Ones. He ain't buying Xbox Ones. He's buying formula and diapers.
Oh, what? I thought having a kid was just a big party.
Nope.
No?
Nope. You got a party right beforehand where you're about to have the kid.
Yeah.
And then it's 18 years of living nightmares.
You mean I'm not just going to be the happiest man on earth with just all this free time to play Rise Son of Rome for $40?
I want you to put a bookmark on this one as a time capsule, and then a year from now look at Justin.
Yeah, he's just like disheveled. He's like
you're going to see me on GameScoop in 6 months just haggard.
Yeah.
I don't have like any talking
Scars.
points in order.
Anyway.
Stains on my shirt.
The PlayStation 4 is currently the most popular console with developers, North American developers, apparently. Xbox One's not far behind with 18%. So they're pretty close.
How about
I wanted to see what this B-roll is.
I don't know. That was planned for when we were talking about E3. That's what I thought that was going to be used. Because that was a view of
I just hope at some point you mention like, oh, last night I had a cookie. And a cookie comes out.
That's a baby.
Oh my God! If Ransom could put his baby in on the fly, that'd be the best thing.
He's like searching Facebook right now, trying to pull baby photos.
They're writing messages to us in B-roll and putting it up. Fuck you, Greg.
We're trying to talk about the state of the industry.
I'm sorry, the state of the industry.
The state of the industry is hilarious.
It's strong.
I like how we start off 100 people lost their jobs. Now we're just laughing.
We don't like that.
Did you find...
Was there a Wii U number?
Oh, yeah, that's funny.
Is anyone excited to make games for the Wii U?
4% of developers are planning to release their next game on the Wii U, which is very close to what it was last year.
And those were all Nintendo plays.
What's awesome is that they can't hear it on our mics, but I heard them laugh behind the wall before they brought them that B-roll.
They're still laughing like that. Anyway.
Did you find the stats from last year?
That's what I was saying. I didn't. I was able to find some of them. The Wii U stats are virtually unchanged.
Yeah.
Very, very few developers. So if no one is playing their next game to come to the console, it just means that like over the next year, the situation on the Wii U is not going to improve.
Nope.
That's Mario Kart, Smash Brothers.
I mean, it'll improve. First-party situation's fine.
Yeah.
Nintendo is rad
Yeah.
first-party games.
Yeah, no, I know.
The third-party situation is not going to improve.
I'm of two minds. On the one hand, it's like that console's totally hosed, right? Like this show, like no one's made any games for it. No one's gonna make any games for it. But no one buys a Nintendo console for anything but Nintendo games anyway. So it's like
This is the third Nintendo console in a row where the third-party support has been lacking.
Yep.
Why are we surprised? Why is this still a deal?
I mean, it's gotten severely worse.
Yeah,
like
that little
GameCube
Wii.
had
Zack
Resident
and
Evil 4. GameCube had Zack and Wiki. No, that was Wii.
Oh, I was referencing his. But yeah, I'm not saying there's never any third-party support.
It's gotten. This is like new lows.
You got Arkham City Armored Edition, so
Mass Effect.
yeah, Mass Effect. That was right. Yeah.
No, I don't think the Arkham City's coming out anyway.
No, it did.
The first
The
Arkham
DLC
City.
is not coming out.
Oh,
for a
DLC.
year.
That was
They
like
canceled the
The Wii doesn't know what the internet is.
I know. But so like the developers levels for the last gen consoles, 360 and PlayStation 3, are just slightly above Wii U. So like that's where the Wii U is right now. It's
a last
in
gen
developers'
console.
minds. It's like a last gen console.
Okay.
And that's their level of interest.
Does that have handhelds on it? Just out of curiosity.
Yeah. 7% for Vita, so
Okay.
not a lot of developers
Same story, right?
making Vita games. Where's 3DS though? Whoa, 1.9%.
Thank you, Mike.
That's the old DS.
That's not even for EDS.
He spoiled my joke. My joke was going to be 0.5% of developers polled are planning to bring their next game to the DS.
Jeez.
There it is.
Yes,
That's incredible.
What games are coming out for the DS?
People they didn't know the difference.
That's a margin of error.
Yeah.
I'm surprised 3DS is that low. That console's finally taking off.
I know, the 3DS is doing really
So
well.
the Vita stats way higher
Only
than
2%
3DS?
of developers polled are making the game for 3DS.
Wait, I'm sorry. Was that when was this poll? Is this the new one? Or
This
the
is the new
from-
one. This is the new one.
But GDC hasn't happened yet, so I'm confused.
Everybody who went
a
last
poll,
year
yeah.
got polled through the email.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, got it.
And they have their email database of people who attend GDC. Yeah.
That's interesting. I'm surprised. Like usually you see like, oh, that console finally caught on. All right, let's spin up a few games. But like, it's interesting that doesn't look like that's happening for the 3DS.
Especially since the 3DS is doing so much better than Vita
It was
is.
the best-selling video game hardware in 2013
And the Ouya.
in the United States. That
Now
video.
I'm timidly coming out of my
Second on
gopher hole to talk for a second. But isn't the games that I remember us all talking about for the 3DS were also first-party ones, mostly. Bravely Default, obviously
a
not.
lot of Japanese games.
Fire Emblem,
Yeah.
sure, but I'm talking about like Luigi's Mansion, Mario Kart. Like
Fire Emblem's Nintendo.
Okay, there you go. See?
Yeah, but a lot of, I mean, these are, the great 3DS games are predominantly Japanese developed,
Yeah.
which they said these were all North American developers, correct?
Yeah, that's true.
Okay.
So there is that.
Yeah.
Those kinds.
Wait for that Fallout DS. Fallout. Want some Fallout.
And I don't know if I said these numbers to put this into perspective. If 20% of developers are planning to bring their next game to PS4, 50% are bringing their next game to mobile platforms, and 52% are bringing their games to PC. So like
Wow.
that's the divide
Yeah.
between consoles and PC and mobile.
That's crazy.
games.
Sure, like there's definitely value in those stats, but the flip side of it is GDC does tend to attract like a lot of indie devs and stuff like that. Like a big studio might
Sure.
send like one or two dudes from the whole studio
Yeah.
that are like their representatives. So it's like mobile games are huge. They're still getting huger. It's such a democratic platform, easy to make games from. More huger. But I do think that stat, it doesn't mean like 50% of all game developers are just making mobile games.
Sure.
Like it's that GDC audience.
Fun with numbers.
Yep.
And we hear a lot about Kickstarter, but only 11% only 11% of respondents had used crowdfunding as a monetary resource for the
That's
game.
sort of surprising. Yeah, that's a lot.
That's a really big number.
Yeah.
Oh, you thought 11? I thought it sounded kind of small, just because Kickstarter seems so big. It just seems like everybody.
But out of like everybody, out of just
Kickstarter.
game developers, period.
Yeah.
I hear a lot when we did an indie game day where I came in and had like 12 or 14 developers demo their game for like 5 minutes, this like trial by fire thing, and we did it all live. And in like small talk before and after, over and over again, I heard like, yeah, like we ran a successful Kickstarter and now we're following through. Like it's funding and marketing, like rolled up all in one. I just heard that a lot. Like, yep, our Kickstarter got off the ground just great, and now we're sort of following through on these next steps. And it's just interesting.
All right. Let's check in with the listeners.
Hey, listeners.
Hello.
Listeners, remember you can always reach us at the email address gamescoop@ign.com, just like Matt in Manson did.
Wait, what?
There's two people. One's Matt and one's Madsen.
I'm inside Mass.
Manson, Washington.
Oh.
I thought Manson was like the name of his Titan.
Yeah,
He
and
was
then
like
I was
inside
like,
of it.
is Manson his last name? Like
Charlie Manson.
Yeah.
I thought he was inside his head.
Yeah.
But Charlie Manson was writing as this guy.
Okay.
Hey, GameScoop, big fan.
Come
Don't worry,
kill all
not
of
Charlie Manson.
Matt says, I noticed that both Justin Davis and Sam Claiborne chose
Mustaches. Oh.
a Metroid game as their favorite game of all time. If you haven't been keeping up, all the IGN editors have been posting lists of their favorite games of all time. Justin's was Super Metroid.
Yeah.
I love that box art.
God, that
God,
box
how
art's
good is
rad.
that game? It always bothers me that she's hitting him right on the chin, though.
Why?
No, it's going underneath his chin. It's hitting his shoulder.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, come on.
I don't think so. His shoulder's way up by his head.
It also looks like she's actually avoiding the word Super Metroid, like they exist in the world and they're falling
Like
on
it's
her.
falling on her.
Yeah.
I've
And
never thought
also,
about that.
they're at the foot of Godzilla, apparently.
Yeah.
No, it's great.
That's Kraid.
It just looks like Godzilla's feet.
Yeah. Also, Ridley doesn't have any genitalia.
What? What? Oh, yeah, you're right.
What are you talking?
Anyway, he says, I like both these picks because Metroid is probably my favorite game series of all time.
Good man, Matt.
Followed by the Max Payne series and the Halo series.
Max Payne?
Wow, surprising, I know. Metroid and Max Payne. I think that a new Metroid game for the Wii U makes sense. And has the potential, along with big titles like Smash and Mario Kart coming soon, to make the Wii U a console that people want to buy. So I have two questions. Number one, do you think a good Metroid game could make a difference on Wii U?
No.
A difference being, do we think it'll sell consoles for Nintendo?
It will sell consoles, but it will not sell enough consoles. Like,
If you were super into the Metroid games, I would think you'd already have a Wii U.
yeah.
I'm super into the Metroid games, and I don't own a Wii U.
You don't own,
would
do you
sell
own
it.
consoles?
Yeah, I have a PS4.
You'll be buying all these when you get the baby. Don't worry. It was a good choice.
I made
Having a baby.
It's a little too late now.
No, I think a lot of people want Metroid, but I don't think traditionally Metroid's a big system seller.
Nope.
I also think about I loved Metroid Prime, but I want to see them go back to 2D. I would rather see a Metroid on the 3DS. Is what I would rather see a 2D Metroid on the 3DS.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people have been saying that they want new Super Metroid. You know, in a similar vein as new Super Mario. Holy,
Yes.
you just broke.
I do.
I hadn't thought of that until you said it.
yes.
Yeah, and that's what people were a little bummed this E3 when Retro announced that they were working on Donkey Kong Tropical Freeze because they wanted.
Well, Metroid Other M was just the definitive Metroid story
That
and
is a
gameplay that you didn't need anymore.
Nope, that is sidewalk garbage.
And I had seen
Side
the
note.
Metroid, and it was nice to me. And then I saw that guy I used to date. I am Samus, and also the girl from Winter's Bones.
Jennifer Lawrence?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm thinking of Lovely Bones. Remember the one?
Yeah.
Sorry, it's been a while since I dusted off that GameScoop joke to make fun of Other M. Yeah, the one where the ghost was talking and had no emotion. They made a whole game out of that for some reason.
Yeah, that was
character,
Beyond
you know?
Two Souls.
Yeah.
Side note, you mentioned the new Donkey Kong Country.
Yeah.
Tropical Freeze.
Yeah.
That's what it's called. Sold abysmally its first week in Japan.
That's not good for business.
In Japan.
Yeah, that game's real good though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It sold just over 30,000 copies
Ugh.
in Japan.
Jesus.
And the last Donkey Kong Country came out for Wii U, right?
No, for Wii. It was Donkey Kong.
I'm sorry, for
yeah,
Wii.
for Wii and for 3DS.
Donkey Kong Country Returns, that one sold like 140,000 in its first week, so that's like...
Tropical Freeze looks
to-
so good.
It's real good. No one's buying it though. Ugh.
Anyway, I think, to sum up, the answer to the question, we would love a new Metroid game, but probably wouldn't expect it to just send Wii U's flying off ships.
Yeah, things like Mario Kart and Smash Brothers are far more important in the grand scheme of things.
Okay, he had a second question. Matt in Manson, Washington, had a second question.
I'm still.
That whole town is like, oh, damn it, Charlie Manson. Why did you ruin our name for everything?
Them in Hitler, California.
Is there really a Hitler, California?
No.
Because there is a photography shop down the street called Adolf Gasser.
Yeah,
That's a real
I knew
thing.
that. I walk by it often.
What game series do you think is overdue for a new game?
Advance Wars.
Yes.
That's a good
Oh
one.
my God, that is an awesome pick. Yes.
Yeah.
I picked it in my top games piece. I
Look
said
how good Advance
right?
Wars is.
I said, like, how
How'd that picture get up there so quick?
See, no, because now they're doing it in
But it's not
a
the
better
B-roll.
sense.
We're
Now it's
still
not
on the
just
TV.
covering us with a still frame.
So how does he
Oranti's
decide?
daughter's face comes up in black and
How does he
white.
decide if it's going to go over us or if it's going to go behind us?
it's up to them. It's their. I told them it's up to their judgment.
Alex, feather it real quick so it goes back and forth between. But give everybody a seizure. There it is. That's just Marty.
Yes. How is there not an Advance Wars game on 3DS?
How did those sell? God, I loved those games.
They sold
Why
okay.
is there not another one yet?
Because Intelligent Systems made Fire Emblem, which did crazy good numbers. They made the WarioWare games, which did crazy good numbers. That company, that studio is so hot within Nintendo. Everything they touch is incredible.
That game studio.
That game studio, but not that game studio. Intelligent Systems.
I want three things. I want a new Earthbound game. I want a new Banjo-Kazooie game. And I
Now-
want a new Blinks the Time-Sweeping Cat.
I'm going to
Yeah.
disqualify one of your picks. Because his question was, what game series do you think is overdue? And there's only one Earthbound game released over here.
That's right. Yeah.
I don't think it counts as a series.
Get out. Leave your sweater.
No, my
And the
sweater.
beard.
Take it off.
What were your other picks?
Banjo-Kazooie.
Yeah. Did you like Nuts and Bolts?
I appreciated it, but I didn't like it.
I actually liked Nuts and Bolts.
We called it the definitive Banjo-Kazooie game.
No.
Who called it that?
Nobody called
Eric
it that.
Brevig? I don't know. I don't think you're the same.
I'm going to go back and see him. I said, edit that.
It would be cool to get another Banjo-Kazooie game. What was the other one?
Blinks the Cat. Remember that?
Yeah,
the
I never
original
played it.
Xbox?
The
It was
original
pretty
Xbox
awful.
Blinks
It
the
was
Time
real
Sweeper.
awful. Yeah. He was a cat, and he had a
And you won.
time-traveling vacuum cleaner.
Also not a series, I don't think.
There was two of them.
I thought
There
there
you
was
go.
only one.
No.
What was the second one?
Blinkser. There was two of them. Don't worry about it. I was
Anyway.
worried about it.
Greg, what was that you like to see return?
Patapon.
You can't say Ghost House.
I said Patapon.
Okay.
Ghost House, I'm not going to say.
You like Ghost House?
Ghost House was perfect. It doesn't need to come back. Who doesn't love it? Come on.
Did you have a Master System? How do you know this game?
I just liked Ghost House.
What do you mean? You didn't answer my question.
Don't worry.
Where did you play the game? You didn't.
On my
play this
computer.
Oh, you're stealing.
game. Okay. Anyway,
Traded in games are doing a lot of damage to the industry, but maybe just straight up stealing games.
That's going to be the lesson to teach
Show the
future
beer over
child.
jail, Ransky, and put the bars over him.
How crazy will that be?
anyway, Patapon, yeah.
Yeah, Patapon, it's time. Where's my Patapon Vita? Where's my Patapon PS4? Where's just the collection of 1, 2, and 3 in an HD version with trophies?
Whatever happened to Loco Roco?
That wore out its welcome.
I thought you were going to say Loco Cycle. And I was like, that was racist and did not sell.
Yeah, well, we never heard anything about Loco Cycle once it came out.
Nope.
I want a baby.
Nobody
I want a third
liked it, I
Explosion Man. Baby Explosion Man. I want Shadow
Oh,
Complex
Baby
2.
Explosion Man makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
Yep.
Do that one.
It's kind of like Super Meat Boy.
Yeah.
There was a Boombox
You didn't
2, right?
answer.
Can we get a Boombox 3?
My answer was going to be Advance Wars. You shouted out
Oh,
before I
man.
did.
Yeah.
Yeah, Boombox was really good too.
Boombox was
Yeah.
good.
Spielberg retired from the biz, though.
He's like, I've perfected games. Now I'm just going to make TV shows about games, kind of. Never asked me about this
And
again.
Abraham Lincoln movies.
Abraham Lincoln.
I want his next big movie to say from the creator of Boombox.
That'd be hot. That'd be hot.
Boombox was awesome.
Yeah.
Both those games were really, really good.
Still play it when we have people over sometimes.
You can do another one on Wii U.
Yeah.
No.
Or an assistant people own.
Connect.
They could make money, too.
Or they can make Blue Block toys.
Yeah?
Yeah. I
mean-
guess those are just Lincoln Logs or Jenga.
Sure. You throw
Like,
Aren't they just blocks?
Yeah.
I don't know. Seems like Angry Birds took that. They took Boom Blocks and they say, well, what if we actually put characters in it that we can use? You know?
Rovio.
Yeah, so
Rovio.
Okay, this is static variable.
It's like a superhero name.
Yeah.
You know, or like a transformer, kind of. I really enjoyed your recent podcast discussing upcoming RPGs.
Ah.
Is there an RPG on the PS Vita you would recommend for someone just getting into RPGs?
Persona 4.
Yep. Absolutely.
Golden.
Come on. Persona
Yeah.
4 is so great. There it is. Good Aransky. Good job.
That is the one.
That's the one, everybody.
Now-
Don't go to that website. Go to IGN.com, though, to read about it.
I have not actually played this game.
Oh, wow.
Yet.
It's
But-
really
You're in for a treat.
I know, everybody loves this game.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I mean, it's one of those things, like, we always talk about it, like, it takes, not a special JRPG, but I'm very particular in my RPGs, right? Like, I don't like fantasy all that much. When you start going back to medieval times, I start losing interest.
What about the restaurant medieval times?
I'd never gone.
Oh,
and they
really?
had them in Chicago
Yeah,
too. Just
they're in
never
Schaumburg.
went.
Yeah.
Yeah, Schaumburg. You know all about it.
Yeah.
But Persona, like just the fact, the Persona 4 and Persona 3, the fact that they grounded them in you're in high school.
Yeah.
Like you get there and you start in the beginning of the game is totally just a high school sim of you being the new kid
Sure.
in school and making relationships and talking to friends and joining clubs and doing all this stuff. That's great. And then by the time they introduce the fact that now go fight monsters
Yeah.
and grind for hundreds of
Yeah,
hours,
yeah.
you're like, all right.
And God, the localization for it is so good that
Right.
despite the fact that it takes place in Japan and has like very Japanese elements to it, like it feels so authentic. Like
Yeah.
it feels like high school.
Yeah, really
the
well done.
relationships you build and everything.
Yeah, voice acting is really great.
Yeah.
It's perfect for the Vita. It's funny that it was a PS2 game and then it got repurposed for this and it fits
Yeah.
so well.
The definitive edition.
The
one could say.
definitive edition, they all
Yeah,
say.
that's the one to get. There's also Ys came out recently. I think it might be a collection of older Ys games.
Yeah.
But Colin Moriarty reviewed it. He gave it
Yeah.
like a 7.5.
The Celsia one?
Yeah.
I'm playing that right now.
Okay.
Yeah, it's fun. He sold me on it. Colin knows my taste and knows how I am. He said it plays like Kingdoms of Amalur Reckoning.
Oh,
And because I loved Reckoning, and so I would just turn it on, but I would mute Reckoning because I didn't care at
Oh,
all
that
about
was
the
dumb.
story,
Yeah.
and then I would just go out and do stuff. And it is like that. I mean, it's not obviously
Action
pretty or
RPG?
anything like that. Yeah, exactly. You run up, you destroy stuff, you switch
Yeah.
between characters.
There's also
It's
a
fun.
lot of good PS1 games you could download.
Sure.
Old Vagrant
yeah.
Story, Chrono Cross, old Final Fantasy games.
Yeah.
Colin keeps trying to sell me on Danganronpa too.
It's
That's
not-
a
it's not
visual
RPG.
novel.
No, I know it's
Yeah.
it's like Phoenix Wright, but it's similar in the fact
Yeah.
of like you're getting this team together of students who are going out and doing
Yeah,
stuff.
that game has a trash name.
Yeah,
Like,
really.
I would. I am embarrassed
Trigger
to say
Happy
that.
Havoc
Yeah.
Danganronpa.
We actually talked about this recently. Like, we're glad that there are still companies that bring over these Japanese
Yeah.
games, and they kept the Japanese name.
Donkey Kong Ronga.
That's cool.
Yeah.
That's cool.
You get in a situation where like that, most of the people that game appeals to would be maybe upset if they were to change the name or change too much about it. So it's like,
But if it appeases me, then
then Marty's
all it
Marty's
matters.
I gotta look out
yeah.
for Marty.
Yeah.
Anyway, Persona Golden.
Yeah.
Persona 4 Golden.
Yeah,
Definitely
that's
the one
the
to
one.
Yeah, go for it.
go for. Before we go this week, what are we going to play this weekend?
I keep holding my breath that South Park review code will walk in because I'm desperate to play that game after playing it for preview. I'm so crazy for it. But
That
with
one's
Titanfall
March
going out-
11th? March 4th?
Yeah, it's
March 4th,
Yeah,
yeah.
March 4th, and then Titanfall.
March 11th, yeah.
Yeah.
So that's, a couple weeks away.
Yeah.
I'm playing a lot of Donkey Kong, a lot of Bravely Default,
Donkey
which is
Kong.
awesome. But I'm also playing a review game right now. I'm not sure I could say what it is, but it's something I've been looking forward to.
Ghostbusters.
Since
Another
Ghostbusters
Final
2.
Fantasy.
Yeah. God, that was a long review
Yeah,
period.
no, you will play. That's all I saw you
Yeah.
play when I looked over there. I was
Yeah.
like, this poor bastard.
Yeah,
Come by every day with the gun to your head. I'm like, not today. Maybe he'll be done.
yeah. Look out for that.
Okay. Yeah. What are you playing?
I'm playing 4 things right now. I'm a busy guy. My amount of free time is not going to dip or change at all in the coming months.
Nope.
It's just going to continue.
You're just trying to get all the games out of your system now.
Thief.
I'm playing that too.
Do you like it so far?
We're not allowed to talk about it.
Yeah.
We're under strict embargo.
Okay.
Banished on the PC. I meant to play Thief last night, then I'm like, I'll just check out this city builder and see how it is. And 5 hours
What's
later,
Banished?
it's a game where you. It's a little bit like The Settlers.
Okay.
So you build a town and build up a village, and then you assign different people different jobs. But it's really really hard, and like people die and get diseases and stuff. But it's non-combat. Like
Okay,
you're never like fielding like an army
yeah.
or anything. Like you're just sort of trying to survive in the environment and build like, okay, now I need to build a chapel and this and that, and it's great.
A bunch of people tweet me about it because they know I'm a SimCity fan, but I didn't get a chance to
Yeah,
pick
I
it
thought
up yet.
about you and I should maybe do some Let's Plays.
Okay.
I'm playing a board game, playing Lord of the Rings, the
Doesn't
card
count.
game.
Baby
and
game, baby
I'm
game.
playing Baldur's Gate.
I thought you were going to say I'm playing Boggle.
Boggle. I've been playing a lot of Boggle these days. I never played a Baldur's Gate game before, so I've been.
Oh, wow.
I've been
Really?
I've been playing it and live streaming me just failing the whole time and not knowing what I'm doing.
I like it.
I finished Tomb Raider Definitive Edition, which is awesome.
Yeah.
So I still have Wind Waker HD when I get finished, and I'm still playing through all the. I play the NES Remix mini games.
Oh, yeah.
Try to do a few of those every night, but I don't know. Have you played it?
Yeah, I played it.
Done much of it?
Yeah, I liked it for like an hour, and then I sort of I was like, all right, I get it.
Yeah.
I get what you're
I
going
love
for.
it.
Yeah.
The final golf mini game is a bitch.
Colin Sam
Terrible.
Claiborne.
It's the challenge is like get the
Yeah.
ball in the hole with one shot, and you're like
Yeah.
you're not like on the green.
Yeah.
Or on
Oh.
They get
Yeah.
really, really, really hard.
yeah, stuff. It's fun. I think that I almost just died just now.
That's how you would have wanted to go. He died doing what he loved, outroing Game Scoop. You go down and immediately Aransky has the tombstone B-roll pop up. We're like, how did he know?
Do you think we still put this episode up?
What
What do you
think
mean?
we're gonna put it?
Oh, if he died?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Are you kidding?
That'd be your
A Damon Hatfield's one goal in life is a million view Game Scoop,
Also,
and that is a
imagine that
guarantee.
headline.
Watch an IGN editor die, and all the comments are, I'm sad it wasn't Greg.
Yeah, for sure. You have my permission if I die in Game Scoop to put it up.
Great.
Okay.
That is all the scoops we have for you this week. Thank you, Greg. Thank you, Marty. Thank you, Justin. Remember, you can always reach us at the email address, gamescoop@ign.com. My name is Damon. This is IGN GameScoop. I've said that many times in the past.
Do you know what you're watching?
And we're out.